RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
All right. Where's the button? Thank you guys for hanging out. Sorry, I hit the microphone. I promised that I wouldn't hit the microphone, and then the first thing I did was hit the microphone. All right, I'll try better. That's all we can do. Try more better. Unlike that's what normal people do. You know, when you make mistakes, you try better. You try different, you learn. You try to improve. Unlike Republicans, who just never improve, never evolve. That's their patriotic and birthright, I suppose. That's their American dream. Never change, never learn anything new. Lie. If you hear things that you don't like, if they interfere with your brain damage, you simply disregard them as false. You claim that they're false, and then you continue to lie. That's what Republicans do. That's why they're called Republicans, and I love it. I love that the chat room is filling up with the amazing Tarabuster community. Come on over to youtube.com/C for channel/Tarabuster. I think I didn't raise my desk high enough. Let me see something here. It's kind of annoying. Yeah, I have a standing desk that it's on a thing and you can raise it. It's very good because I'm telling you, I don't know, maybe my ass is just getting old. My ass hurts from sitting in this chair sometimes. And then I was deciding, should I stand up? But while I was getting the show ready, when I was sitting down, I'm like, my ass hurts. But it's sort of like I've been sitting in the chair all day. I don't know. I can't really blame my ass. All right. Oh, shit. Okay, guys, thank you for hanging out. This is Tara Devlin, unapologetic liberal talk on the right side of history. Yeah, it could be how do you pronounce that? Sciatica? But it's not my spine. It's like my buttocks. It's like sore from, it's like when you sit in the same position for a long time. That's what it feels like. Maybe it's sciatica. Maybe. It's better to stand anyway. But then I start getting tired. Well, I'm getting old. What are you going to do? Fuck it. Right? That's the consequences of waking up. It goes down. It's a nerve that goes down the leg. It doesn't really go down my leg. It just feels sore. Like, it really just feels like I'm sitting in the wrong spot, like, for a long time. So, yes, it's true. At least, who was somebody shot in the buttocks, Trucker John? Who was shot in the butt? Were you? I hope not. Yes, try some spanking. True, I should. Thank you, JD. And thank you, everyone. I'm taking all the suggestions. So, and thank you, Jim, for your super chat. And thank you, Charlie. Oh, right. Forrest Gump was shot in the buttocks. I hate that movie. I don't know. It's like I hate that movie. Like I hate... it's a very popular movie, I understand. I never liked it. I thought it was dumb when I saw it when I was a kid. And I also thought Dirty Dancing was rather stupid, too. And everybody enjoyed it. And I thought the movie Dirty Dancing made me feel like very alone in the world, I have to say. Because when I saw... not with my friends. I was with a few friends who I'm still friends with to this day. And we went to see it on New Dorp Lane in Staten Island. I can't remember the name of that theater. It's a pretty good theater. And the whole theater was really getting into it. Some people were even dancing in the aisles, if you believe it or not. I swear to God, we were all looking at each other like, is this happening? And I guess they were trying to turn it into some kind of experience along the lines of, what's that movie? Let's Do the Time War. That one, where everybody would go and... I went to that movie once, too. And I was like, what the fuck is... Whatever. People were dressed up. It wasn't for me. So, what was I saying? Yeah. Yeah, when I went to see Rocky Horror. Sorry, guys. When I went to see Dirty Dancing, I thought, wow, everyone is really enjoying this, and I think this is ridiculous. I think this is. I didn't like it, and I was going to say I think this is shit, but it's shit is in the eye of the beholder. It's not shit. I suppose maybe you like it. I don't. But what's to like? I don't get it. I didn't get it, and I just thought it was dumb. And but I felt alone in the world because I was like, because everybody likes this and I don't like this. I felt very alone. So, but it's okay. You gotta do your own thing. Go. Against the grain. You gotta be yourself. All right, whatever. Thank you, Charlie from APS Radio News, for your support of this little podcast that could. Right? We think we can. We think we can. We know we can. We know we can. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. And I really like our Friday night gets together. And thank you, Charlie. Check out APS Radio News. It's not just me over there. There's other independent liberal media voices, and Charlie is one of the good guys. Loves people, animals. Loves within reason. People, animals. I don't know if you saw that. There's a terrible video from the hurricane area, and I hope everyone who's listening, at least, are safe. It's devastating. But, of course, that's another reason to vote normal people who know what they're doing into office, and not a con man and his cult of grifters who will use hurricane aid, as some kind of cudgel because he's a little tiny bitch that is unfit to lead a drunken conga line, much less a modern nation. So, vote blue. That's why I named tonight's show. There were so many things we could talk about, but voting blue is a patriotic imperative. But I saw there's a video of the woman, I'm sure you saw the house got pulled off its foundation, and the woman and her dog were on the porch, and the poor dog, they can't find the dog and the husband. So, and everybody was saying how horrible it was that the husband. It is horrible. This is too soon for this joke. So, but I was like, oh, the dog. And the husband, and everybody. What a nightmare. But you know what I did think? Let's not go there. I feel bad. I'm not trying to be. It's a terrible, horrible thing. But this is Georgia. We're talking about North Carolina. People who vote against their own better interests most of the time, right? Georgia's on the cusp now. It's turning into a more of a purple state, but not if Republicans have anything to do with it. Because look what they've done trying to suppress the vote. This is the only way they're going to win. And the lies about the election was stolen and whatnot. But these are the same people. And I have to say, when they interviewed that woman, and I don't know her from anything, the woman who's experienced that terrible event and devastating loss, I thought, I wonder. It's not the time, I guess. Are you a Trumpanzee, or are you a normal person? Because one party, literally they're tweeting. I'm sure you saw Perjury Trader Green tweeting how they control the weather. Who's they? Who's they? The Jews? Who? The gays? The trans? Who? Oh, the Democrats, probably. They control the weather. I know she says that Jewish space lasers cause wildfires, but I mean, one party is that, and that's Georgia. This is a woman from one of the states that are experiencing that's ground zero for this devastation. And let's not forget how, and we shouldn't forget, the way that the Republicans withhold aid all the time. And in fact, if I am not mistaken, where is my list? Marco friggin' Rubio voted again, or was it Matt Gaetz? Let me look. I have a list here because I wanted to see, how many times Republicans vote against the aid for other countries. I mean, for other states. Might as well be other countries at certain times, right? It feels like it. Yeah, concisely. Ted Budd. Matt Gaetz voted against FEMA funding before Hurricane Helene. Okay, hold on, we'll be right back. Yes, Matt Gaetz voted against FEMA funding just recently, before Hurricane Helene, but assured his constituents that they would get support for hurricanes, and then, they get hit. Matt Gaetz, just one day before just one day before Hurricane Helene tore through Florida, Matt Gaetz, representative of the Sunshine State, was among several Republicans to vote against a stopgap measure that would continue funding the government and provide billions of dollars in extra disaster assistance. And let's also not forget that in Project 2025, all of the early warnings for weather in general, National Weather Service, FEMA, all of the federal agencies that Republicans are crying for now. They want help in these devastated areas. Of course they do. They're all socialists now. But I don't know. I don't see a damn bootstrap amongst the bunch. Really, all I hear are the lies coming out of Traitor Trump's mouth, which that in itself, the whole thing is unconscionable. How Traitor Trump, yet again, in this crisis, he never misses an opportunity to divide people. Never. That's how desperate he is. That's how much he hates this country and hates the people who are getting ready to vote for his dumb ass for some sick reason. Because they honestly, they need to look at themselves. At this point, I don't care anymore. What is it? What is it? Are they economically insecure? Are they stressed? No, they're racist. They're backward. The world keeps evolving without them, and they can't keep up. That's the problem. They're sick. They're stupid. They're malinformed, and they're eating that shit up. They want to be malinformed. They're unreachable. Their delusions are impenetrable. And what I wanted to talk about too, the woman Tina Peters, who got sentenced to 9 years in prison. Hopefully Traitor Trump will follow after we smash him legally and peacefully in the election. But it's funny how the maggots and the enablers and his brown shirts all over the country are facing consequences for their crimes, but Traitor Trump is just roaming free to continue to commit crimes and to spread the seeds of disinformation, misinformation, the next January 6th. Right? What the fuck? And we can blame this illegitimate and corrupt Supreme Court. And that's how much that's how many problems we have to overcome in this country. It sometimes feels insurmountable, but you know how you tackle a problem? You're way ahead of me. One step at a time. The first step that's facing us, the first thing we need to do is get Harris elected. Get her ass in office, please. Quicker than the goddamn Flash. And give her a Democratic Congress. Then we go from there. But we have a lot of problems in this country. And frankly, prove me wrong, they can all be boiled down to voting for those who, well, let's put it nicely, that don't have the best interest of their constituents at heart. I mean, how could you even argue that they have the best interests of their constituents at heart when these are people that are voting against funding for their communities? And that's the reason people vote for them, to send them to Congress, so their little area will have a voice in the federal government, that they'll be like, oh yeah, me too, I need some resources over here too. But these fuckers vote against their own constituents. But the problem is the constituents keep sending them back. That's what's baffling. And this is why it's so shameful. Well, they should be ashamed. But if they had the ability to be ashamed, they wouldn't be Trumpanzees, especially at this point. You know, I appreciate Liz Cheney. Trust me, I do. And I appreciate that, you know, she's going out campaigning for Harris, but she voted for Trump twice. She voted for him. She voted with him 99.9% of the time. So she, you know, you want to know somebody, look at their friends. Exactly. They're, you know, all right, good. I'm glad you couldn't cross that final, you know, that ultimate red line. Like the rest of these filthy maggots, they're so disgraceful. And today, I don't know if you saw, where is it? Did I find it? No, I didn't. I was looking because Traitor Trump is in Georgia and he's campaigning. Wait, hold on. Traitor Trump. Oh, that's what I do. You know, I always call him Traitor Trump. So I Google Traitor Trump. You know, as if that's his actual name. One day soon. Right? Yeah, really. It's coming. That day is coming, by the way. If you haven't noticed the, well, just the fact that Dick Cheney, Liz Cheney, and other Republicans and I guess we can call them Republicans, right? But they have, you know, like Mike Pence. He sucks too, but he didn't. You see, the thing about Mike Pence, he tried. He called up Dan Quayle. He was calling, getting all not just Dan Quayle, but others, trying to get their opinion on what he should do. Should he, you know, should he commit treason for Traitor Trump? What should he do? He tried. He really struggled with it. It wasn't like a firm no. So, but hey, I guess we can all applaud that he finally came to the right decision after exploring all other options. And he still, even though he said he will not vote for Traitor Trump or not endorse him or whatever. Did he say he's going to vote for Harris or endorse Harris? No. And then I heard some other Republican on one of these MSNBCs, corporate media type things, and because they love having Republicans on now that are, you know, not completely abhorrent. But she was, I can't remember who it was. It was kind of more of an underling, not one of the prime stars of the Republican Party or in the cabinet. But she said, talking to her fellow cons, that you don't have to be a Democrat to vote for Harris. It's okay, you know, giving you everyone's. Liz Cheney is giving you permission. It's sort of like a tacit permission to for the rest of the other Republicans who fear pulling the lever for a Democrat. But hold on, I'll finish this on the other side. Come on back and hang out. But so this woman who was saying that giving her fellow Republicans permission to vote for Harris, was saying, you don't have to vote for the rest of the ticket. You just vote for Harris, and then you can vote ours all down the list. Really? That really pissed me off. As if the maggots in office and running for re-election are better than him. They're not. They're all part of the same parasitic, like the goddamn the bitch alien queen, and the eggs she lays, and running around causing chaos everywhere. That's what you do if you vote for the Republicans down ticket. What are you doing? You're not doing anything productive. I know. Errol says, I hear the producer. I think it's Boudica. Buddha. She's this is her Zooming time, I think. It's Zoomer. She's a good girl, but when she's sleeping, she's a good girl. She's very cute. That's her saving grace. No, she's good. She's a good girl. You're a good girl, Buddha. Hello? Come here. She don't listen. Oh, she's going by on the TV. Great. Come on, Boudica. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't mean to yell at everyone. All right. So we were talking about, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, Republicans suck. That's where we are. Okay. No, they're just irredeemable. And Traitor Trump, he's getting more desperate, in case you haven't noticed. I'm sure you have. It's disgusting. This is why he's such an unfit and irredeemable parasite and traitor. Because in the midst of this crisis, Republicans never miss an opportunity to divide. Going to the devastated areas, devastated by Helene, and lying to the people there. Telling them, oh, Joe Biden can't be reached. He's not picking up the phone. How dare you? How fucking dare you? And of course, the governor of Georgia said that wasn't true, but it doesn't matter. He's still campaigning alongside him. Traitor Trump is in Georgia. I don't know where he is now. I hope he's, I don't know, in burning in hell where he belongs. But he should be, he should not endorse Traitor Trump. He shouldn't be campaigning with him. He shouldn't appear at his rally. Let me see. Where is it? Trump. Because it was so irritating. The picture of Trump and this Brian Kemp asshole. Let's see. Georgia. So, yeah. Governor Brian Kemp has the power. Well, I'm just reading somebody's tweet. Governor Brian Kemp has the power to stop the Trump-endorsed Georgia election board members who are changing the election rules in ways that violate laws, but, of course he's not. And so they were at a rally, and the way that Traitor Trump was just staring and looking at him, and Brian Kemp speaking on behalf of this filthy con man. What a... Ugh. It's just not... There's no excuse for it anymore, frankly. That's it. None. No one... there is no excuse to vote for Traitor Trump. Now, I just want to play one for any of them. There's no redeeming value. There's no redeeming quality. What are you voting for? You like if you're Elon Musk, man-child Muskrat, and you don't have enough zeros on your bank account because you hate America, you're Peter Thiel and you don't believe democracy works and you want to destroy it, yeah, that's your man, I suppose. But if you're a normal, non-sociopathic person, human being who with feelings, who cares, who has empathy, that isn't a complete sociopath, then what are you doing? What are you voting for? Trump was horrible. We don't have to go into it. Every damn show it should start like saying that Traitor Trump has the worst jobs record of every modern president. He is a con man. He's a grifter. He does nothing. He did nothing. In the midst of a pandemic, we had to run around in garbage bags and washing out N95 masks. The poor first responders, the frontline workers who didn't have a day off in 2 fucking years because he was telling his morons not to wear their masks. And then when you had an illness, if somebody had a heart attack and they went to the emergency room, there's no beds because they're all taken up in the ICU by maggots who didn't want to put a piece of cloth on their face. Remember that? And then when we got the vaccine, it continued. The division, the divisiveness, the screaming, the yelling, everywhere, going into stores, yelling and yelling. They're always fucking yelling into stores and knocking over displays. Forget it. Then, of course, anytime gay pride comes, knocking over rainbows. Nobody wants to see I mean, these people are horrible. What are you doing? And there is no excuse anymore. In fact, I just don't even know where to begin. That's why I'm fumbling around here. Let me see. Just one thing from the corporate media today as an example of what we're up against and an example of the problem.
And critical swing voters see her as best on the economy because we've seen also over and over again that voters have said that they trust former President Donald Trump more on the economy than Vice President Harris.
Okay, so that's a quick clip because I heard it and I had to. It's the way I capture the videos is kind of tedious. I hear it playing and then I'm like, oh shit, I better get that. And I only have a couple of seconds, and I can't go back. So if I don't get it when it when it plays, it's hard to find it unless they post it. But this, Yamiche Alcindor, she's a nice person, I'm sure. But what they were talking about was the exceptional jobs numbers that came out today and the economy and how inflation is lower now than pre-pandemic levels and how it's good news how Joe Biden and Harris, how they worked to stop the strike, whatever, I can't remember, the shore, what's that union called? The shore, shipping people, I don't know, the shipping people strikers union. And so they were boasting about the economy, and they should, because it's a good economy. There were presidents that would kill for this. Yeah, longshoremen. Sorry. Thank you, Jim. And thank you for being a moderator. And thank you, Haiku, for being a moderator, too. And a producer. You guys are helping produce the show, that's for sure. But so they were saying, touting all these record numbers and whatnot. For real. Not Traitor Trump's fake-ass numbers, where he added $8 trillion to the deficit they supposedly care so much about, right? And so, but this is the pattern for the corporate media. They will go on about all of the good numbers, the jobs numbers came in and it was stunning and shocking, and it was as well exceeding the economists' expectations. That's what they were saying. And then they always finish it up with, but voters believe that Trump is better for the economy. Well, you know what? Wouldn't it be a much different polling, let's say, if you finished it up with not that? How about saying, isn't that great news for the economy? Why do you have to finish it up with all the time? Voters believe that Trump is better for the economy. Oh, just say voters believe erroneously that Trump is better for the economy when he's not. How about try that for a change? But just saying and reiterating and repeating voters think Trump is better for the economy, all that does is feed the social contagion of misinformation. It doesn't add anything to the conversation. We know that maggots are delusional already. We know that. So why don't you inform them? And in spite of what they believe, which it doesn't matter what they believe, they could believe the sun rises in the west and sets in the east. It doesn't make it true. So just inform them. I know what they think. And this is what drives me insane. And why? And then, of course, when they talk about why is it? Why don't they feel the people feel Trump is better? They feel Trump is this. Well, the fucking feelings aren't facts, honey. I learned that in day one in the rooms, So feelings aren't facts. Why don't you inform them? And then they're saying, oh, the undecided. Well, who are these undecided? They're not informed, clearly, or whatever. I don't know. A lot of people, they don't have the time, whatever it might be. They don't pay attention. But you're seeding the air with this bullshit that they hear. They'll hear it when they're walking past someone, the living room on the way to the shitter. And their mother has on MSNBC, and all they hear is the voters think that Trump is better. And they don't know why. They just think that. And because, they're not that smart, and people want to be part of the crowd. It's very rare. It's not like, when I went, these are the people dancing in the aisles at Dirty Dancing. You know what I mean? These are the ones, they're not going against the grain because they don't know how. They don't know why. They're not going to be able to explain it. But they'll hear, well, voters think Trump is better. I guess I do too. Am I wrong? No. I know I'm answering my own question, but you should answer my question on it. I mean, really, this is why people think this. Because we have half the country watching Fox News and the right-wing fascists pouring the misinformation into their empty head, into their empty brain, that one brain cell. And then you have the other half of the corporate media that's pretending to or trying to stick with the practice standards and practices. But I can't talk. Why must they finish every sentence with but voters think, but both sides, but voters think? That's right, exactly. Kathy on the chat, the media just keeps repeating the lies and the misinformation, and it keeps it going. It spreads it. It doesn't tamp it down. It doesn't stop it. It doesn't, they do with the election, where they'll say that Trump, when he says that the election was stolen, they'll say they'll rectify it. The election wasn't stolen and blah, 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 blah. And Trump is lying. So, but this is a habit. But voters think, I don't know what it is. And you know what it is, actually, now that I'm thinking out loud. It is it's partly because of the 24-hour news cycle. They have to keep going. They just have to keep saying shit. And it's so there. It's right at the top of their mind. So they got to sound informed. Well, yeah, right. Well, this is that, and that is the truth, and here it is. But voters think that. And it almost it fits into the both sides thing too, and it's sort of, I guess, in some way they think they're giving it some kind of color or context when they say, but voters think that. Who cares what fucking voters think when they're wrong? They're wrong. Trump was not better for the economy. He was not. Well, even though they feel before he sucked, and plus he killed 1 million people. And I mean, what? End of fucking. I rest my case. Who gets to kill 1 million Americans and then get to be the president again, unless you're a maggot? Could you imagine? I can't even take it. If a Democratic president left office with 1 million American corpses in his wake, and that American president, not even a war. There wasn't even a world war. It was just a pandemic that he botched and divided people. I'm so sick of it, and that's it. This is what we keep we keep saying it on the show, that day is coming where Trumpanzees, those who supported this scumbag, parasite, traitor Trump, will only speak of it in shamed whispers. That day is coming. And even today, when I was watching, the news and everything, and then he came, this piece of maggot dirt. I mean, he's a maggot. He's the dirt of a maggot. He's disgusting. And that's not Trump derangement syndrome. Whoever, if you're a maggot just passing through, that's called having eyes. Not seeing that is Trump derangement syndrome. Thinking that thing who has a hole in its mouth where lies pour out, or its hole in the face where the lies fly out, like lies around, like flies around shit, and then they land in your one brain cell and gnaw it to a stump. That's and you see that and you think that's fit for anything other than a laugh or a feeling of pity. Now that's called Trump derangement syndrome, for real. But maggot, where is it? Maggot Trump, Traitor Trump, otherwise known as. He lies about, here it is, here's him lying about hurricane relief.
So we now have no money that was supposed to be used for tragedy, for hurricanes, and this was a tragic hurricane. This was maybe the worst hurricane we've ever had.
Oh, boy.
And he's got no money. And
he loved it. See, he so wants to blame the hurricane itself on Democrats, of course, and Harris, and Marjorie Perjury Trader Green basically did that. They control the weather. But when I was watching this or heard this clip, I thought, I hate his guts like any normal person would. But others, this is old already. This is well past stale. And it needs to be thrown down the garbage chute and taken off to the dump. And then buried on top, and just keep burying it down for maybe 1,000 years. Archaeologists will look it up and see, what is this maggot, right? But this fossil of a maggot. But it's old. It's stale. The lies, the division, the just the horrible. Everything sucks coming out of his stupid hole. See, it's almost, well, it's not almost, it's comical, really. And it would be funny if he wasn't such a threat to the world, And it's, because, it's like when J.D. Vance, during the so-called debate, whatever, the J.D. Vance Live Festival, everything was Harris's fault. Harris, the wave of Harris's wand, and it's because of Kamala Harris policies. Kamala Harris did this. It's like as if she's the Forrest Gump of everything, and everything is wrong. And it's so comical. It's childish. It's fucking delusional. Everything is wrong except, jobs are through the roof, and the inflation is coming down faster than every other country, and we have an economy as I don't know who it was exactly off the top of my head now, the World Economic Forum or whatever those economics assholes were saying, that the American economy is kind of the engine keeping the world economy afloat and all this other stuff. And that's not the sign of a failing country. It's a sign of a country that's doing all right, in spite of maggots, the maggot albatross around our national neck. And, he's too delusional and stupid to that's why J.D. Vance is a better liar, too, because he pretends to be reasonable. And Traitor Trump is just off the chart comical with how extreme he is. Like when Harris was debating him, when she just said it, talk about extreme. He should, with a tinge of laughter in her voice, because he's a joke. It's ridiculous. They really do think that if they repeat it often enough, the morons will believe it, and sadly enough, some of them do. But for him to continue to lie about what's going on, the hurricane relief, and this asshole supposed to be a reporter is just sitting there? Now, I don't mean to do this to you, but let's continue.
We said, what happened to all the money? They were given billions for this.
Everything's an immigrant's fault,
illegal
too.
Migrants coming into the country, a big percentage of which are murderers. So
a big percentage.
We are poisoning our country. Our country is being poisoned. Our country is being ruined.
By you.
It's being ruined.
By you. Our country's being ruined by maggots. A big percentage are murderers. All right, let's not play the rest of him because he's disgusting. But these are people that are not well. I don't know if you saw before. I just saw this right before we went on air here, that Trump is rallying with his Nuremberg rallies all over the country, but he's in North Carolina, and of course he's talking about, because they renamed, JD, who's in the chat and a supporter of the show, thank you, JD, for everything you do to keep the show going. He's not even from this country. He's from England, the lucky bastard. And I appreciate that he cares more about this country than the maggots do, really. But just so, JD, in case you don't know, so in this fucked up country, I don't know if they would do that in England. You wouldn't name military bases or anything, schools, streets, stoplights, post offices. You don't name it after traitors, right? You don't, who try to overthrow the government, or try to and also helped kill 500,000 Americans. You wouldn't do that, right? But here in this, well, it's in the South mostly, in these maggot states, because they fundamentally hate America, so they've named military bases after traitors, out and out traitors who declared war against the United States, against the government, that the founders fought a revolution to create and entrust to us. These traitors, they seceded and they declared war against the United States. And there were a lot of military bases named after some of these traitors. And one of them is Fort Bragg, who was named, hold on a second, where is it? I'm trying to find the clip. So he's at a maggot, rally or whatever, a maggot gathering. And here it is. Hold on.
Well, thank you very much. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
How are you? Hi, darling. Hi.
Ew.
How are you?
Disgusting.
Thank you very much,
Why are they
everybody. This
shaking
is
his
an
hand?
honor.
Honor.
And, you know, I walked in, the first question that I asked, should we change the name from Fort Liberty back to Fort Bragg?
And listen to them cheer.
First question.
Look at all those racists and traitors cheer. See, the world keeps evolving without them. It's a good thing not to name your military institutions or installations after traitors, I would think, you know? And the fact that they were named after traitors is a problem to begin with. And it's a reflection of the fact that in our struggling search to be a more perfect union, we have been entirely too kind to the conservative albatross around our national necks. Of course, we never finished the work of Reconstruction. That was by design. You know, it could have happened. If Lincoln was not assassinated, we would be in a different country today. And Johnson didn't take over because that was the team of rivals bullshit. You don't need a fucking team of rivals. You need a team of people who have the same goals in mind. They may have different ideas how to get there, but Lincoln had Johnson. He was a slave owner from the South. He wasn't any great abolitionist. He rolled back a lot of Lincoln's, a lot of his policies, ideas, and it wasn't just him. Then, of course, with one of these compromises of 1870 something, where they ended up, it was the Republicans at the time who were the normal people, and the Democrats were the racists, the entrenched power structure. But they ended up, with the presidency. The normal people got the presidency, but on the concession of removing the troops from the South. So, thus ending Reconstruction and inflicting a century, basically, a century of domestic terrorism, and more, a century and more. It's still going on, but, Jim Crow, the voter suppression in general, and these namings of the military installations, and of course erecting statues to these traitors, and those were post Civil War events because they were being put up as warnings to black people, to people who had darker pigment, and those who weren't complete filthy racist bastards, as warnings to stay in your place. This is who we are. So, in any case, Fort Bragg is a major U.S. Army installation in North Carolina. It was named after Confederate General Braxton Bragg, who is both a racist and a traitor to the United States. It's just absolutely unbelievable. It's like Germany naming one of their military bases Fort Himmler. Right? There's really no difference. The name they changed it to Fort Liberty, which sounds a lot better to me and is inclusive. I don't know. I was in the Army. There's a lot of people with darker pigment in the Army and in the military in general. But, I often wonder how they would feel with just, living and working in Fort Bragg, knowing who it's named after. I guess you got to put it in the back of your mind or something. I don't know. But what kind of country? You know, we're a nation of immigrants. And we have a racist history that we've never reconciled with because of Republicans. They don't want us to. It might hurt their feelings. Right? It might make them feel bad or something. You know, the fuck your feelings crowd doesn't want to feel bad about making, I don't know, coming together, making a more perfect union. They don't want that. But, you know, I just often wonder how it has to be in your mind as somebody with darker pigment. You're not stupid. You know the message that's being sent. That's also, it's like soft terrorism. You know, we got something for you. You step out of line. You know, we honor Braxton Bragg, slave-owning Confederate general who fought against the United States in the Civil War. He is a traitor. That is by definition. He is a traitor to the United States. He owned 105 enslaved people on his Louisiana plantation. He is also, here's the other thing about Braxton Bragg, which is probably why Traitor Trump loves him. He doesn't know, first of all, he doesn't know the first thing about Braxton Bragg. Somebody should ask him, who's Braxton Bragg? Give us the elevator speech, Traitor Trump. You're supposed to know so much. You're making all these decrees. You want to shape this country. God help us if you're successful. But so who is he? Who's Braxton Bragg? Tell us, dear leader. But not only is he a filthy traitor and a racist, of course, you know, a man of his times and location, for sure, he was also he's regarded, it's not just military historians, it's most people in general who know what they're talking about, although, meaning not maggots, not Trump. They regard him as one of the worst generals in the Civil War because he is known for multiple retreats and losses, poor strategic decisions that got the men under him killed, a reputation for creating unnecessary conflicts with other officers, because he's probably, Trump would have loved him. Also, he has been described as the most hated man of the Confederacy. So, I'm not sure why. Let's see. Most hated. Probably because, could you imagine being considered the most hated by the most abhorrent people of your time? Right? Most hated. Bragg was a merciless tyrant who had an uncanny ability to turn minor wins and losses into strategic defeats, wrote Sam Watkins, who served under the man. Yeah. Many historians in the South call him the most hated general. U.S. Military Academy graduate from North Carolina, gained fame in the Mexican-American War, where artillery troops fired projectiles called grape shots, canvas bags filled with gunpowder and metal balls packed tightly like clusters of grapes. During the 1847 Battle of Buena Vista, General Zachary Taylor rode his horse over to Bragg and supposedly said, "Give him a little more grape, Captain Bragg." The phrase, a variation on the actual order, became famous, so famous that Taylor used it in his successful 1848 presidential campaign. But as a company commander, Bragg became known for his ruthless style that didn't exactly endear him to his troops. Well, so what? They're a bunch of racists, but he got them all killed. He got as many killed as he could. Such as the time he ordered a soldier to ride into enemy fire to retrieve harnesses from dead artillery horses. One soldier tried to kill Bragg, slipping a 12-pound artillery shell under Bragg's cot. That meant, how much do you have to suck for your own men to try to kill you? Incredible. The shell exploded, destroying the cot, but Bragg was uninjured. When the Civil War broke out, Confederate President, a traitor, called on Bragg to leave his Louisiana sugar plantation and the 105 people he enslaved to be a rebel officer. In his first campaign as a full general, Bragg brashly invaded Kentucky, figuring he would be welcomed with open arms. He issued a proclamation, "Kentuckians, I have entered your state with the Confederate Army of the West and offer you an opportunity to free yourself from the tyranny of a despotic ruler, Abraham Lincoln." That's Trump. That's who Trump and these maggots are clapping for. Okay? Let's never forget who they are. Bragg's insufferable piece of nonsense, the Louisiana Courier responded, reminds us very much of the song, "Will you walk into my parlor?" said the spider to the fly. That was the response from the Kentuckians, who didn't rally to Bragg's call. He retreated by the end of the year. On Christmas Day, Bragg directed a firing squad to execute a 19-year-old infantryman, Asa Lewis, who had been convicted of desertion after going to the Kentucky home of his widowed mother without permission. What a champ. What a champ that they're all cheering for. When Confederate General John Breckinridge of Kentucky appealed for mercy, Bragg sneered, "You Kentuckians are too independent. I'll shoot every one of them if I have to." That's your hero. That's who they want to name this military base after again. Bragg led his troops into the next year into Tennessee, where he suffered a string of losses, leaving Union troops in control of Tennessee. In September, he finally scored a win at the bloody Battle of Chickamauga in North Carolina. But fellow officers, including Nathan Bedford Forrest, berated him for not pursuing Union troops to stop them from retreating. Well, he's probably, scared. After a personal clash with Bragg, Forrest burst into Bragg's tent and shouted, "You have played the part of a scoundrel and are a coward. If you were any part a man, I would slap your jaws. If you ever try again to interfere with me or cross my path, I will be the peril of your life." That's a real champ. I mean, no wonder Republicans love him. They want to, I just can't take these people. Shame on them. Listen to them applaud.
Liberty, back to Fort Bragg. First question.
First day. We're going backwards.
Right? So here's what we do. We get elected. I'm doing it.
We get elected.
And we're leading in all the polls. We should get elected, but remember this, they
You're
cheat
not
like
leading.
hell. We got a too big to...
Yes, just set it up. Set up January 6th, part 2, you traitor. You filthy traitor. All of them. He's not the only traitor we're looking at here. Look at them all in that rally crowd. Look at them all there. There's not a lot of them there. I don't know where they are. They look like they're not in a stadium or something. Shame on them all. Shame on them all. They will be eviscerated in history's light. Remember that. And we'll be around to see it. It's not going to be that far in the future. They will be reviled. more, even more than they are now. So that day is coming, and I can't wait. It is coming. So let's see. Bragg's biographers refer to his racism, noting that Bragg opposed drafting enslaved people into the Confederate Army because he did not believe they could be reliable soldiers. Such a view might have been no problem, but he said he refused to accept, back in the day with the especially in the Confederate Army, it was hard enough in the Union Army, right? He refused to accept blacks into the artillery units because I could not make artillerymen of them. Yeah, it's just a scumbag. Not that, I don't know why any black person would be in the Confederate Army except under duress, but I heard they were just like there are maggots who have darker pigment. It doesn't make sense. There are gay maggots, women maggots. Camp Bragg opened in 1918 and was upgraded to Fort Bragg in 1922. The post was one of the post was one of 9 Southern Army bases named for Confederate leaders. Incredible, right? The other bases are being named after individual heroes or heroines, but Fort Bragg's naming committee pressed for the name Liberty. That's a far cry from the image of the fort's original eponym. I can't say that word. Bragg, Confederate officer I can't write this. Say that. I can't talk. Bragg was obstinate but without firmness. Oh, this is good. This sounds like Trump. Hold on. I'll be right back. Just want to finish this quote. We'll move on to the rest. So let's see. William Dudley Hale wrote in a letter after the war, a contemporaneous letter from a person who knew this dirtbag, this Bragg dirtbag. He described him as obstinate but without firmness, ruthless without enterprise, crafty without stratagem, suspicious, envious, jealous, vain, a bantam in success, and a dunghill in disaster. Well, does that sound familiar to anybody? That sounds like Trump. So, of course, he wants. Oh, these scumbags are naming things after this traitor already. Traitor Trump. We have to do something about that too. When we get all branches of government, there has to be some kind of law passed that military installations, anything, we can, post offices, towns, squares, whatever, parks, streets, schools, cannot be named for those who attempted to overthrow the government of the United States that the founders fought a revolution to create and entrust to us. I mean, who would do that? See, that's why they do it, because they hate America. I mean, I know I keep saying it. It's not just being hyperbolic. It's not. It's true. I'm stating a fact. They hate this country. How can you say you love this country? I know they like flags. They like red, white, and blue, and stars and eagles. They like that. They don't get the substance. They like the symbols, but the substance is very upsetting to them. They hate the nation of immigrants. They hate the nation of laws. They hate the Constitution, equal protection under the law. They hate that. They hate leaving no one behind. They want to leave everybody behind, but them. More for them, none for. That's why they say, oh, everything going to immigrants. It's going to migrants, and they're murderers. Because they want everything, and Republicans are giving anything that we have to the rich, and they can't go out and say that. So they distract them with this racist bullshit. Here, put your energy over here. They're eating pets. Here, go. Here, wind it up. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Go. Fuckers. Unbelievable. And so to move on a little bit with this Tina Peters woman who, it's funny how the underlings, it's sort of like what happened in George W. Bush, when we became a torture nation thanks to the Republicans. And it was all the bad apples, right? The privates, the private first class so-and-so, and they all got put up on charges for torture. It was all they. They were the masterminds. Not the Dick Cheneys, but this woman, Peters, what's her name? Tina Peters was sentenced. Now, Tina Peters, for those who, it's a brilliant takedown. So Tina Peters is the former Mesa County clerk in Colorado. She was sentenced yesterday to 9 years for her role in this scheme, this data breach scheme related to the bullshit that the election was stolen in 2020. So during the sentencing, now I don't know if you if you saw this on the web, there's also, you can watch Tina Peters's whatever her name is, you can watch Tina's comment, or however you call it, when she, right before the sentencing, she gets to speak her piece and kind of beg, I guess. Well, this is, like any person who's going to jail, this is, you get a minute or however long. I think you could take as much as, within reason, time to plead your case, beg for mercy, be apologetic, apologize to the community, all that, in the hopes that the judge will show mercy to you and not throw the book at you. And he was, people are commenting on the length of the sentence, but she was possibly facing 20 years. So he didn't throw the complete book at her. He threw like less than half the book. He should have gave her the full 20. Because Tina is a liar. She used her position to try to usurp the votes of the people she pretended to represent. And also, she became a star in the MAGA sphere of stars, or whoever they are. Yeah, she was a big guest on Steve Bannon's show all the time, and the Mike Pillow guy flying her all over the country on his private jet. And she would not quit the lies. So even in her sentencing, she lied. And it was astonishing. I watched the whole thing. She was putting up friggin' PowerPoints and wasn't trying to say that, she wasn't allowed. Once again, the courts and the deep state got her, and people lied, and everybody's lying to, the whole, it's just amazing conspiracy, this overthrowing of Traitor Trump's, the worst, most hated president in American history, right? It's just, everyone's conspiring from all over, from Mesa County to Georgia to from sea to shining sea. We're all getting together. Over 60 courts, juries. Now, she demanded a jury trial, which is her right. But the jury, a jury of her peers, I guess they were all in the deep state too. They found her guilty. She's guilty. But she wanted to remain free. She was begging to be she didn't have a conciliatory bone in her body. She wanted to stay free. She wanted to be sentenced to probation, and which was another option. But the judge, who was brilliant, and well, let's play it because I think it's kind of cathartic. I don't want to play the whole thing because it's like 20 minutes. So let's see. Well, here's a local news story about it.
On a story making national news today, former Mesa County Clerk Tina Peters sentenced to 9 years of incarceration for her role in an election security breach back in 2021.
Fox 31 political reporter Gabrielle Franklin is joining us now to break down that sentencing and reaction from election officials who were outside of that courthouse. Gabrielle.
Yeah, Erica, the judge made it clear today he wanted today's sentencing to be an example of what happens when people in trusted positions violate elections laws. And as a result, Tina Peters is set to do some hard time.
Your lies are well documented, and these convictions are serious.
A judge sentenced Tina Peters to 8.5 years in prison and half a year in jail Thursday. The sentencing comes after jurors found her guilty of allowing a man with unauthorized access into Mesa County's secured election system back in August. The judge made it clear today he wanted the sentencing to serve as a deterrent for comparable behavior in the future.
This is nonsense. Our system of government can't function when people in government think that somehow, some way, the power they've been given is absolute in all respects. And that's where you fell.
Before the judge handed down the sentence,
I found that interesting because the judge was talking about how no one is above the law. Lest we forget, this illegitimate and corrupt Supreme Court just made Traitor Trump above the law. They also made Joe Biden above the law, but no one's really worried about Joe Biden violating the law or trying to be a dictator or not playing by the rules, the laws of the land. But we all know what Traitor Trump is capable of. And God help us if we need a reminder.
Peters pleaded for probation instead of prison.
But I'm not a criminal. And
Yes,
I don't
you
deserve to go into a prison where other people have committed heinous crimes.
Yeah,
Leaders in
you
Colorado beg to differ. Secretary of State Jenna Griswold saying justice was served.
It's important that when people break the law and breach the public trust, especially in elected office and as an elections official, that they face accountability. With that said, this was the nation's first public insider threat. My office swiftly took action, but then we took a series of steps afterwards to tighten up our laws.
Attorney General Phil Weiser saying in a statement, today's sentencing is a warning to others that they will face consequences if they attempt to illegally tamper with our voting processes or election systems. My office will continue to protect our elections and the freedom to vote.
And the judge did tell Tina Peters today that her sentence could likely be shortened if she exhibits good behavior during her prison stay. There's also an option for her to appeal this sentencing, but we will, of course, keep an eye on it and see how it all plays out. But for now, live in Denver, Gabrielle Franklin, Fox 31. All right,
so let's see, where is it? I have the sentencing. It has kind of a hum on it, just forewarning, but there's nothing I could do. I think you also heard it in that news report. The microphone, however this was recorded, it had some kind of hum.
As it relates,
yeah, let's fast forward a little bit.
Ms. Peters is such a danger to our community.
All right, okay, here we go.
Violating the protection order by speaking to employees of that entity with your camera crew in tow.
See, she had no qualms continuing to spread these lies. So what the judge made reference to is the fact that she's irredeemable. And if he let her out and simply gave her probation, she would continue to poison the empty heads of the dumbasses who believe her. What would stop her? That's why she needed to be incarcerated. So the lies would stop. At least one spigot of lies could be shut down. And help. Yeah, it's like you have to stop the bleeding somewhere. But there's, of course, there are other maggots all over the country. Steve Bannon and the rest. Traitor Trump, J.D. Vance. Oh, I can't wait till they get their day.
Be wrong.
Wait, let me rewind this a little bit.
Reputation at this point is poor because of
Okay.
didn't have 4 lawyers representing them. They didn't have a team of assistants helping them. They're not getting rides in private jets all over the country.
She's talking about, because she was comparing herself to the other people who face this judge, and she's not like them, and you know, she's not a drug dealer. Drug dealers get time. They get time served. Drug dealers get probation. She should get probation. So he was making a comparison that, well, many people that face me, they don't have your privilege. They weren't handed everything. They're not rich. They're not being flown in private jets. They don't get 4 lawyers paid for them by some pillow asshole. They, you know, they have public defenders. They come from broken homes. They struggle with substance abuse. They have problems that you have none of these problems. She is the epitome of privilege. And then she used her position of public trust to violate the public trust in the most egregious way. Because this is a choice. She's choosing to believe this lie. Unless you're absolutely delusional, like a schizophrenic, psychotic or something, there's too much evidence to the contrary. They know what they're saying isn't true. And frankly, if she thinks she's right, if she actually thinks that, she's not fit. Anyway, she should be locked up for her own good.
The people who sit in that chair suffer, generally speaking, immeasurable trauma in life, struggle mightily with alcohol abuse, substance abuse, mental health struggles, family loss. They come from broken homes. The cards they were dealt were never the cards that you were dealt, Miss Peters. So when I hear you discuss your husband, who sadly passed away recently, your family struggles, and your son, who served our country admirably and made the ultimate sacrifice, I consider
Trump calls a sucker and loser.
And I note too that he honored his oath to the country, something that is not lost on me when considering the circumstances under which you find yourself here.
Was a Navy SEAL. Wait, hold on. Does that sound weird? Oh, I feel like my mic sounds weird. Okay.
Your age, limited criminal history, and the like are certainly somewhat mitigating. Your ties to the community are what they are, but your reputation at this point is poor because of what you've done here and after. Your lies are well documented, and these convictions are serious. I'm convinced you would do it all over again if you could. You're as defiant as a defendant as this court has ever seen. You don't have those histories of drug and alcohol abuse. There's no lifetime of trauma, not even close to the type of mitigating circumstances I would see from many folks who sit in that chair. No, to the contrary, Ms. Peters, you are a privileged person. You are as privileged as they come. And you use that privilege to obtain power, a following, and fame. And to be sure, there's no doubt in my mind that it's exactly what you wanted, and it defies all sense of common sense to believe when you suggested to me a few moments ago that you didn't want this attention. No, you crave it, ma'am. And there is no one in this courtroom who would consider that to be anything other than the absolute truth.
This is brilliant.
But to get to the point of what it is that you did here, it's my impression distinctly that you never took your job of clerking particularly seriously. You didn't complete the certification. One scandal after another followed you in your time as the clerk. And ultimately, it was a belief that the echo chamber in which you live couldn't be wrong, among other things, that led you to do what you did here. This thought process, unfortunately, seems to consume so many in our country, regardless of race, gender, political affiliation, or the like, that what it is we hear and think can't possibly be wrong. There are many things in my mind that are crystal clear about this case. You are no hero, you abused your position, and you're a charlatan who used and is still using your prior position in office to peddle a snake oil that's been proven to be junk time and time again. In your world, it's all about you. But at bottom, this case was about your corrupt conduct and how no one is above the law. No one in this country has absolute power. Your position as a clerk and recorder, a constitutional position, does not provide you with a means by which to do your own investigation, to not listen to the judiciary, to not listen to the executives higher than you, to not listen to the legislature who sets the law as it may be. This is nonsense. Our system of government can't function when people in government think that somehow, some way, the power they've been given is absolute in all respects. And that's where you fell.
That's the point of what the Republicans are up to.
You have no respect for the checks and balances of government. You have no respect for this court. You have no respect for law enforcement. And you do not have respect for your fellow colleagues when you were a clerk and recorder who weren't lockstep in your beliefs. Period. Indeed, just weeks before trial, you were apparently doing what I mentioned earlier, that is, over at the clerk and recorder's office where you're not supposed to be, violating the protection order by speaking to employees of that entity with your camera crew in tow.
Incredible. I wish we could see her face.
You have no qualms with violating the court's orders because you're innocent. Because you didn't do anything wrong. You were just doing your job. You have no problem trying to kick an officer. Your explanation about what happened is preposterous. It's on video. You have no problem lying to officers. It's happened multiple times. They're recorded conversations. It's just more lies. No objective person believes them. No, at the end of the day, you cared about the jets, the podcasts, and the people fawning over you. You abdicated your position as a servant to the Constitution, and you chose you over all else. Yes, you are a charlatan, and you cannot help but lie as easy it is for you to breathe. You betrayed your oath for no one other than you. Damn. And this is what makes Miss Peters such a danger to our community. It's the position she held that has provided her the pulpit from which she can preach these lies. The undermining of our democratic process, the undermining of the belief and confidence in our election systems. It's not about questioning it. No one says you can't question, you can't ask. It's completely different. And if you don't understand I can say or do here today, that will change your mind.
All right. Guys, that's the end of the Progressive Voices part of the show, but we have more show at youtube.com/cfachannel/Tarabuster, and of course over at the Patreon page, patreon.com/Taradevil. And please become a patron, become a member, or whatever you do. Check out APS Radio News for some more independent media voices, because we will win. We don't have big billionaire benefactors, we only have you. My name is Tara Devlin. We're on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. We stick together. We win. I will see you very soon. All right. This Tina Peters, I don't know if you watched her pre-sentencing statement. She made, the judge here makes reference to her kicking an officer. And she pretended that, she lied. This is the thing about the Republicans. They all lie. This is the party of lies now. Why can't I talk? When don't they lie? At this point, we should note when something comes out of their mouth that isn't a lie. And, you know, if only the party of personal responsibility would take some responsibility for their actions. But everything's a lie. Right? Oh, no, don't believe your lying eyes. January 6th, that was the peaceful transfer of power, according to J.D. Vance. Right? Don't believe that. Don't believe the truth. Believe what they tell you. And this woman, Peters, she's one of her charges because she kicked a cop. And in the courtroom, people started to laugh, but you really couldn't see what she was doing because apparently she was acting out how she accidentally kicked a cop, but the camera didn't catch it because she got up and walked over to some other part of the room. And she said that she had fallen backwards and her leg accidentally clicked in the air or something. And the people in the room started to laugh. And the judge, and she said, nah, people are laughing, Your Honor. And he admonished them, but what else can you do? What's the normal response to somebody who's acting a fool? And telling a lie that is so obvious, it's childish. It reminds me of something my little nieces and nephews might concoct when they're caught doing something wrong, right? And expecting everybody to believe them because they don't have the wisdom of experience. They don't understand. They don't have the worlds or whatever. They're just kids. And Tina Peters clearly thought we're all a bunch of fools. Everybody's a fool. Everyone's an idiot. The whole world is corrupt. That's the other thing about the Democrats have to get tougher, and this is my eternal cry. Because when Traitor Trump, for example, when they were in the debate, in the presidential so-called debate, it's not a debate. It's just, it's a shit show. And he's going on about election interference. It's a witch hunt. Joe Biden's Justice Department. I really want to hear Democrats. I want to hear Harris or Walz talk. It's too late, of course, going against J.D. Vance, reminding the American people that it's not the Joe Biden Justice Department. It's a jury of American citizens, a jury of his peers in different jurisdictions all over the country found Traitor Trump to be guilty. And not just the jury that found him to be guilty, they had to go through a process. Other juries. So how many grand juries? How many actual, trial juries? Numerous times this went on. So it's not Joe Biden going, I decree to Traitor Trump to be accountable for his crimes. It's the American people who see the evidence. And that's exactly what happened with this woman. I don't know what the hell she thought. Maybe she believes her delusions at this point, but I doubt it. Somewhere inside, there's that little voice telling her what a fraud she is. Just like Traitor Trump. There's a voice. That's why we all have to suffer for it, That voice in Traitor Trump constantly telling him what a fraud he is. And he knows he's a fraud. That's why he's selling Bibles and watches and NFT cards and sneakers and all kinds of grifts to cheapen the whole, not just the presidency, but the entire country. I mean, no dignity. Absolutely no dignity. But I wanted to see this. Hold on a second. Where is it? This is the screen. Let me see. Here's a video of, here we go. Let's open it up. Tina Peters arrest. Tina Peters arrest. How come I can't? Just trying to isolate it on the screen so we don't see the whole damn screen. Tina Peters. Here we go. That might help. Come on, Tina Peters.
Well, tonight we're getting our first look at police body cam video showing the arrest of Mesa County Clerk Tina Peters. Peters was detained Tuesday by Grand Junction police who had a search warrant to seize an iPad that Peters is accused of using to illegally record a courtroom hearing. Body cam video shows police putting Peters in handcuffs before she appears to try to kick one of the officers.
Let go of me! Do not kick! You understand?
Peters has since been charged with obstructing a peace officer. She turned herself in Thursday and quickly bonded out.
I can't really see anything. Anyway, who amongst us does not believe that Tina Peters kicked a police officer? Different rules. Different rules. Right? Different rules for, if you're a cop who's fighting for freedom, justice, and the American way, they'll beat the shit out of you. They'll smash you in a door. They'll spray you with bear spray, a cattle prod, zip ties. They'll tie you up. Right? But if you're a cop who, like the ones that that endorsed Traitor Trump, they don't like police. Republicans do not support the police. They support the police state. They don't support patriotic police, public servant police, police standing in the way of tyranny. They're unfit. They're unfit for this kind of system of government. That's why I wish they would all just fuck off to the woods or Russia. Go. That should be our new thing. To the woods, like Tina Peters. To the woods with ya. Tina, she went off to the woods. Maybe that's what they're going to tell. Well, that's the other thing that's fucked up or whatever, is that, or sad. I don't know her son. Her son died. Her son was a Navy SEAL. He died for this country. Gave his life. And Tina Peters has no qualms lying and trying to just turn the community she pretends to work for, to turn that community into chaos, which is all Republicans do. Whatever they touch, they turn into the chaos. They don't add calm. They don't add decency. You know what I mean? They don't add any solutions. They just cause chaos. And her son gave his life for this country, who Donald Trump calls those who gave their lives for this country suckers and losers. There's no debating about that. Who do you believe? Traitor Trump or the general who clarified it and also stood by his statement? You don't do that if you're lying. Why would he lie about something like that? And Traitor Trump knows it's the truth. And there's no one in the circle of Traitor Trump that's like, oh, that's so unusual. That's so unlike him. That's because it's something he would say. It's not something they haven't heard before. I guess he thought he was having a moment with his one of his cabinet members who... An unprecedented number of cabinet members. This has never been heard of before in American history, as short as it is, that those who are in the cabinet of the so-called former president, despite receiving fewer votes, that they are coming out against him. Those who saw him in action and say he's unfit. General, the Secretary of Defense, numerous secretaries of defense, because he went through them. He had numerous secretaries of defense. I only hire the best people, only the best. But the best people saw him and said he's unfit. The best people were the ones who were around him initially, the ones that he, that had some integrity, and they left. because he sucks. He's unfit. They can't take it anymore. Oh, excuse me. I hit the microphone again. It's the bane of my existence here, hitting the microphone. But the lies, you know, he's unfit. And there go the traitors. There go the Trumpanzees applauding this. The applauding somebody whose own vice president won't endorse him. Somebody who, let me just look this up. How many cabinet, I should ask, this is what I need to do. It's faster. Ask it on my phone, because I can speak faster than I can type here. Let me see. Now I can't get the thing up. Okay. How many of Trump's cabinet members are not endorsing him or coming out against him? Let's see. Half. Look at that. Nearly half of Donald Trump's former cabinet members have not endorsed him for his 2024 presidential bid. Out of the 42 individuals who served in his cabinet, only 24 have publicly supported him. Publicly. Leaving the rest either neutral, shame on them, or opposed to his candidacy. Some notable figures, such as Secretary of Defense Mark Esper, former Vice President Mike Pence, have openly criticized or declined to endorse him. Incredible. And they want more of that. Why? Because they're, you know, if you're voting for somebody who's unfit, it's because you're unfit. And frankly, you should just stay home. Just stay home on election day. Because everything Republicans touch, they turn into chaos. Chaos, confusion. They have nothing to offer. They have nothing to offer but chaos, division, discord. I mean, look at this. Look at Perjury Trader Green. While her own state is suffering the consequences of a 100-year storm every 100 right now, once in a lifetime storm is happening every year now.
People are not affecting climate change. You're going to tell me that back in the Ice Age, how much taxes did people pay and how many changes did governments make to melt the ice? The climate is going to continue to change.
Dumb.
And there is no reason to just open up our borders and allow everyone in and continue to funnel over $50 billion or however many billions of dollars or trillions of dollars to foreign countries all over the world simply because they don't like the climate change.
What the fuck is she talking about? She thinks that's smart. How many taxes did they pay in the Ice Age? JD, do they have dumb people like that in England in positions of power? Do you have anybody that dumb as an MP? You can't. This is not real life. Let's hear that again. Anybody make sense of this shit?
People are not affecting climate change. You're going to tell me that back in the Ice Age, how much taxes did people pay and how many changes did governments make to melt the ice? The climate is going to continue to change. And there is no reason to just open up our borders and allow everyone in and continue to funnel over $50 billion or however many billions of dollars or trillions of dollars to foreign countries all over the world simply because they don't like the climate change.
She fucking thinks. She thinks that she made a very astute point there. That's in the congressional record now. Forever and ever, amen, until the apes take over. Right? They blew it up. God damn them. JD says yes, but not so outspoken. Well, that goes to show you then that they're not as dumb because they know when to shut their dumb mouths. She doesn't know not to shut her mouth. She thinks she's smart. That's part of the mark of insanity, to not know your limitations. And this is part of the problem with the Republican Party. They don't know their limitations. Some of them don't know their limitations. Others are they're just sociopaths, like Tina Peters, who is a traitor and also out for herself. As soon as she started getting attention for her election-denying antics, she liked it and wanted more of it. She wanted those rides on the private jet. She wanted to make content with Mike Pillow, and she liked the attention. And that's why she kept doing it. So she wasn't going to let go of that gravy train, or especially that, that attention that she was getting as a malignant narcissist. She needed more of it. That's what is required to be a maggot. You have to be some kind of malignant narcissist, because really you're hurting your community. Think about it. You have to, if you get a job or you're elected to an office, and as she was, in a position of public trust, and you're actively working to harm and tear that community apart, you're doing it all for the attention. You're going on podcasts, you're going on private jets, you're being, you're living the high life. It's fun. And everyone, wherever you go to CPAC, and they're like, oh, Tina, can I interview? Tina, come here, come there. I got they're buying you drinks, they're buying you coffee, I want to take a picture. Tina, right? And you have that empty hole that will never be filled, because whatever, you haven't had enough therapy. You need to go to therapy, not CPAC. That should be the tagline for that whole event. Seek therapy, not CPAC. Get help. And that's why she'll sell out her own community. She'll sell out everybody that she pretends to work for in the interest of. If she's working in the interest of a community, and that community is tearing itself apart because of her antics, she's doing it wrong. She's doing something wrong. And any normal person would be like, oh shit, I'm sorry, and they would adjust. Especially after she's been proven wrong again and again and again, and it won't stop. She will not accept information, factual information. It bounces off them like perjury trader Green swinging on one of those CrossFit bars. So, this is a choice after a while, and it requires somebody who's a sociopath, because I know for a fact, if you search your feelings, search yourself, I think if I was in her position, of course I would do my job faithfully and honor my oath, and try to do the best I could. But if I thought that I was doing something wrong, and I was hurt, and the whole community was in chaos, you would stop it. You would stop your shit and at least fucking resign. You'd have the integrity to be like, wait, maybe I'm in over my head here. I resign. I'm sorry. Please forgive me, community. But not these people, not them. They fucking tear this whole country apart. The way they act. This bitch, these sons of bitches, Traitor Trump, it just infuriates me. Listening to him go to the areas that are suffering right now, that are in chaos, not because, the traitors aren't doing shit for them, except lying to their faces. He said, well, he's not even going down there throwing goddamn paper towels at them. He's opening up their empty heads. They're already stressed enough, They got enough to deal with, and here comes the goddamn malignant narcissist, parasite, Putin puppet traitor, convicted felon rapist, lying to them, making them more stressed out. Oh, Joe Biden's not doing anything. Hey, nobody can get him on the phone. Fucking lies. And he knows it. And he knows it. And he looks like shit as he's lying, too. Where is it?
So we now have no money that was supposed to be used for tragedy.
Look at that face. The face of a sociopath, a liar. But then, you know, okay, a parasite's a parasite. It is what it is. He looks like crap. I can't wait till he goes to prison and he doesn't get his hair products and he doesn't get his fucking tanner, his orange, whatever the hell that is he puts on his fucking face. That's going to be good. And I can't wait till the judge, I hope we get to see it, like what happened to Tina Peters, when the judge throws the book at him. But, you know, who's this guy sitting there? Who's that guy? I can't remember his name. Oh, Kudlow. Larry Kudlow. Just sitting there, letting him lie. Letting him lie. This is why this country is so torn apart. You know, I wish the corporate media mouthpieces would stop wondering about this, openly pondering this. Just listen to this show. I'm telling you, the country is torn apart because of media, because of the silos of information, or misinformation. Jesus Christ.
Poisoned. Our country is being ruined. It's being ruined by these people.
Can you believe this
And they took billions of dollars and used it for settlements of people that came in, many of which are criminals.
No, you're a criminal. You're poisoning the blood of the people. You're poison. There's nobody who poisoned the blood of this country more than Traitor Trump and his Republican Party. Nobody has done more harm to this country than him. They couldn't kill 1 million people in the Civil War. He did it. Jesus Christ. And these assholes don't even have the decency to F off to the woods. You know, they should. I wish they would. Go to the woods. Go to Russia. There's a lot of land in Russia. You know, Lebensraum. Go. Just go. You like that kind of country. You like authoritarian countries or oligarchies. That's the kind of country you should live in. I mean, they had those great supermarkets like Trader Tuckyo Rose took a tour of. He was such a sycophant that even Putin was embarrassed for him. And then, you know, you would also think that some of these maggots would wake up. Of course, but they love Putin now. You know, they're all in love with Putin. It's absolutely disgraceful. But you would think that some of them might be like, wow, gee, why is Putin paying the likes of Tim Pool and all these other, you know, right-wing podcasters? Why are they getting $100,000 a month from the Kremlin? Is it just a coincidence that they say the same things about hating America as Putin does? I mean, why? You know, you would think that they might be a little bit upset by, you know, being played, so easily played. That's what irritates me, too. And then when I hear the corporate media, you know, they say how the Saudis and Putin, that they want to manipulate oil prices to make gas prices high for the election. So it will hurt Joe Biden, and now it will hurt Harris. And because people will be upset if gas prices get higher, as if we control, you know, OPEC. But the fact is, if they only phrased it or framed it in a different way, like, how dare Putin and the Saudis try to manipulate the election so egregiously, right? I mean, if you present it like that and tell the American people, the Saudis are trying to influence your vote by slowing down the production or the oil drilling or whatever the hell they do, and thus making gas prices higher because they're trying to manipulate your vote. Isn't that absolutely outrageous and offensive? And don't be stupid enough to fall for it. Make your decisions wisely. This is clearly a tactic, and you got to ask yourself, why do they want Traitor Trump in office? Why are they working so hard on his behalf again and again and again? Is it because he's such a dumb puppet? He's so easily led and played. And then oh God, I don't even know. There's so many things. It's like the corporate media has failed us. We're in this boat because of the corporate media and media consolidation. But that's what the media should say. To me, it's offensive. It's outrageous. I get angry when I hear that Saudi Arabia's tried to, mess with our election, and Putin too. I get annoyed at that. It infuriates me that Elon Musk, this traitor, who should be kicked out of the goddamn country, who should have all his government contracts removed because he's a traitor and he can't be trusted, that he's allowing these Russian bots, these misinformation Russian bots on his platform. He's amplifying them. He's not stopping them. And, they fall for it. Instead of pointing it out and saying this should not just not be allowed, but people should know. And they should be offended that some authoritarian dictatorship is playing them and they're falling for it. Don't you have any dignity, Don't you have any patriotism? And there they go, flying their stupid flags, right? Like their stupid fuck your feelings flags, your Trump flags, but flying the American flag. How dare they? While being such useless idiots in the demise of this country. And, that's what's so outrageous, too. The other thing is how we're all talking about, and it's true, that people are pointing out that Trump is a wannabe dictator. It's not just me saying it. We don't have to speculate. He is saying it. He wants to be a dictator on day one. No other so-called president or candidate in American history has called to cancel the Constitution. These except Traitor Trump. And these maggots are up there. They share the stage with him. They cheer him. They endorse him. And then the maggots in the audience all applaud. You know what? Shame on you. You're a traitor. What group, what major party would run a candidate that said we should suspend the Constitution? And that's just one of the many offensive and treasonous statements he said. And he's their standard bearer. He's their guy. Absolutely incredible. But that's why, watching the debate with Walz and Vance, it was, Walz, whatever. He didn't shit his pants completely. But this is not normal. Don't stand there and agree with this person who is only on the ticket because the other vice president was running for his life from the mob chanting to hang him because the running mate sent them to try to kill him. And he's only up there acting reasonable or pretend, even though everything was a lie, and he was upset that he was being fact checked. It's like, where do we live? Oh, you promised not to fact check us. Incredible. And he complains about it. I'm being fact checked for my lies, calling these people illegal when they're not. How dare you fact check me when I'm lying? But he's only up there trying to make this parasite, convicted felon, con man, traitor, threat to American decency, dignity, democracy, and humanity, and Putin puppet, to make that seem like a reasonable choice. Oh, it can't be that bad. That's why are you saying I agree? Oh, you and I agree on a lot of things. Exactly. Haiku on the chat. What planet do they live on? Crime wave? See, on their planet, everything sucks. You know, we're in a highest crime and highest this and highest, you know, the highest, like, the whole thing. It's like you know, Armageddon out there. But, except it's not. It's the exact opposite. And, yeah, they just keep lying. Highest crime rate? No, actually, no. The crime rate was higher under Traitor Trump's administration. And everything, and just taking credit for, and we talked about this on the Wednesday show, so I won't really go into it 100%, but the thing that really got to me was him numerous times taking credit for rising wages. And Walz should have said, you know, he said, oh, Trump, we had the wages rising and the take-home pay rising. Well, that's because blue states all over the country were passing $15 minimum wage laws in spite of Republican opposition. No one pointed that out. They just let the lies out there. I know you can't stop and fact check every lie, but that's a big one where people are like, well, we had higher wages back then in spite of Republicans. And in fact, Trump did everything he could to cut people's lifelines and to cut wages, making it harder to qualify for overtime, recategorizing workers as managers so they wouldn't get overtime. Everywhere we looked, anytime he had the power to, he harmed the workers. He made workers have less power. He did nothing. There was a strike. He did shit. In fact, and then he went to union towns and said, oh, don't worry about it. Buy a home. You better just buy a home here. And then did nothing when he knew, probably, that this factory was being shipped offshore. It did nothing about it. Yeah, except tell the assholes, buy a home. You better. That will be your best investment. Don't worry about it. All those suckers lost their jobs because of this fool. Except now, and then he's like, manufacturing is on the rise. No, that's now. That's now. We're building things in America. The manufacturing is off the chart now. Factories are coming home because of the Chips and Science Act. We're making chips. We're making solar panels. They kept lying. Traitor J.D. Vance kept lying, saying, oh, they're making the most solar panels in China. That's not true. We're making them here. Everything is a lie. You know, this is why they're so disingenuous, that they're not trying to help the American people. Because they're, you know, if they were, they would simply deal in reality. It's not that we both have different ideas. You know, we all want to go to the same place, but we have different ideas how to get there. And we're not trying to kill each other. But they are. Because they're lying. They're not trying to help anybody. They're trying to dismantle the entire grand experiment. And are we going to let them? I don't think so. We will win. We're on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. Thank you guys for hanging out. This is our Friday night show. Thank you, Charlie from APS Radio News. Thank you, patrons. Patreon.com/Tara Devlin. We will win. I'll see you soon. Yes, they just put a... Where did I just see this? They put a factory in Perjury Trader Green's district. They put a... Yeah, right. Well, let me look this up. From Build Back Better or Chips? Build Back Better. Well, it's so typical. Yeah, Biden and his administration, yes, President Biden and his administration have been highlighting a solar panel manufacturing plant in Perjury Trader Green's congressional district as a success story for their climate and economic policies, despite Perjury Trader Green voting against it. And ask the maggots in that district who will vote for her. I wonder how many are working at this factory now. Hanwha Q Cells, it's called. It's a South Korean company, built the largest solar manufacturing plant in the Western Hemisphere in Dalton, Georgia, which is in Perjury Trader Green's district. It initially hired 650 people, and now it is producing 12,000 solar modules a day. But after the passage of the Biden administration's climate law, C-cells or Q-cells, and well, she should like it because it has Q's. Maybe she thinks it's QAnon cells. We control the weather. Q-cells announced a significant expansion with the help of the investment of the Build Back Better and the infrastructure bill, which had a large investment in climate action, a $2.5 billion investment to expand the facility and to build a new one outside of Atlanta. And also plans to increase employment from, now they have 1,285 employees to 1,795, and an additional 2,000 jobs planned for yet a new facility in Cartersville, which is also in Perjury Trader Green's district. What a piece of crap she is. So Biden administration is using Dalton solar boom as a prime example of how the its climate policies can benefit Republican area. You know, if we were like the Republicans, we would not put those plants in Perjury Trader Green's district. Right? No way. No effing way. That's how Traitor Trump rolls. You know, if you take out the blue states, there's hardly any death. I hate these people. Ugh. Wow. VP Harris visited the plant in 2023 to celebrate its expansion. I wonder what Perjury Trader Green had to say, if anything, about that. Incredible. That's right. Let's see. This is an article from that time. It says, President Joe Biden and Marjorie Taylor Greene have one thing in common. They're both fans of a solar factory in her district, in this sleepy corner of the state, carved out of the Appalachian Hills, long known for its carpet industry, is not decidedly Biden country. And how many of these ingrates who have jobs because of Joe Biden and Democrats are driving around. They pull into that parking lot with the "Let's Go Brandon" bumper sticker, right? That's one of the things that really annoys me about them, besides everything else, is that they don't have the decency to say thank you. Let's go, Brandon. They're only feeding their families because of Brandon. But, you know, they'll call him everything but his name. Former President asshole won nearly 70% of the votes in this district. The same year, the district sent the flame-throwing Republican Green to Congress. One morning in June, a white pickup truck. Oh, look at this. Look at this. I didn't even read this article. I'm just reading, beforehand. One morning in June, a white pickup truck displaying an "Impeach Biden" bumper sticker drove past a Dalton Waffle House. At a nearby Walmart, Dalton residents described their support for their stinking, disgusting congresswoman. "She's got balls," said a local retiree who declined to give his name because he's a keyboard warrior. He types very tough behind the veil of anonymity. "She seems to stand up for us, except she voted against the solar panel factory that, you're fucking keeping a roof over your head because of. So she seems to stand up for us," said an 84-year-old Green supporter who thinks 80-year-old Biden isn't cognitive enough to be president. Cognitive enough. Like the con man who talks about childcare is childcare. Bing bang, bing bang, bung bung. Says that, let me see. This is a good one. Let me see. I mean, there's so many to pick from. Come on, where is it? This is the after show, by the way, so. Where is it? Oh, come on. Do I have that one? I thought I had it. I probably didn't copy it over. I was trying to find the one where he's like, "Where's this fly? Where there was a fly. We wouldn't have had a fly 2 years ago, I betcha." Fly? Where'd this fly come from? Where's my eCam? Oh, God, I hate him.
Kamala is mentally impaired. If a Republican did what she did.
What'd she do? What'd she do? Oh, you're not supposed to know. They never give details.
If a Republican did what she did, that
What'd she
Republican
do?
would be impeached.
What'd she do? See, that's how they play the game. What'd she do? There's no details. Because you're supposed to be like, "Oh, I know what she did." If a Republican did what she did, what did she do? What? Did she say she was going to grab people by the pussy? Did she steal classified documents and not give them back? Did she put them in her shitter, in her tacky, gilded, whatever the hell, her halls? Did she move them around? Did she pay people to try to stay clear of the cameras? What'd she do? Did she show them to her donors in the office and say, "Look at this. If I were president, I could declassify this"? And then did she lie about the election? Did she call up Georgia and say, "I just want you to find me the votes to win" when she lost? What'd she do? Did she falsify business records and use her campaign funds to pay off a porn star that she underwhelmed when her third trophy wife was home recovering from childbirth? Did she? What'd she do? Is she trying to steal the election? Did she send a mob to the Capitol to defecate and urinate in the halls and smash cops and kill cops and and maim them and try to stop the peaceful transfer of power? Is that what she did? Is that why she's mentally ill? When they said that her vice president was under attack and that they were trying to hang him, and mob was hunting him down like it was the 16th century, going after Frankenstein. What did she say? So what? What? What'd she do?
Removed from office, and rightfully so, for high crimes and misdemeanors. Joe Biden became mentally impaired. Kamala was born that way.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine this guy saying global warming is the greatest threat to our country? Global warming is fine. In fact, I heard it was going to be very warm today. It's fine.
I don't know about you guys, but I think climate change is, as Lord Mark just said, okay?
This earth warming and carbon is actually healthy for us.
Oh, I hate them. Oh, it's healthy. It's the greatest. Right, exactly. I mean, you guys, did she bury her ex on a golf course so the state couldn't take it? Right, for a tax break? Did she steal money from a child cancer nonprofit? Did she corner a woman in a department store and assault her? Did she meet in secret with Putin and confiscate the transcripts? What did she do? I'm like on the edge of my seat. Unreal. Wow. We have 33 days to stop this, at least for a minute. I mean, it's going to be, they're not going quietly, but they're going to go. They're going to go. That's why he's saying already, they're going to cheat. You got to overwhelm the cheat. They're not going to win. I'm going to go out on a limb. That's why they're working very hard, working their treasonous, traitorous, little scummy, grubby nubs as much as they can. They're traitorous nubs to try to stop people from voting, kick people off the voting rolls, muck up the system, muck up the gears, try to make it, as confusing as possible so they can cry foul. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing in Georgia. If they had Georgia in the bag, which they know they don't, they wouldn't worry so much about putting all their little minions in place. The traitors that they put in there, that he calls out. And says at his Nuremberg rallies, good work, great. They're doing some great work undermining the system that the founders fought a revolution to create and entrust to us. They've waved big American flags while doing it too. That's how sick they are. How much they have to be stopped. Yeah, absolutely incredible. But there's no comparison. Incredible. They all suck, and they have no decency. They lack the fundamental decency and maturity to say thanks for all the hard work that Democrats are doing in spite of them. And, I'm sick of it, frankly. That's why there is no comparison. Anybody who votes for them, who votes for these traitors, shame on you. Shame on you. I'm not saying Democrats are perfect. Nobody is. Nobody, not even Liz Cheney is saying that. But she is saying that there's a clear choice. Either we're still going to go in one direction as a constitutionally limited democratic republic, or these people, and I'm saying that generously, is that these people are going to tear this very system apart. They're undermining, not just undermining, they're destroying the system the founders fought a revolution to create, and restoring the very system that they escaped from, where the rich run and rule everything and everyone else knows their place. And then we have our big daddy autocrat. Church and state are intertwined. There's no social safety net. There's no Department of Government Schools, right? Education. There's no National Weather Service. There's no nothing. The state does nothing for you. Don't expect anything from government. Government's, they drown that in the bathtub. Government's the problem. All government does is take money from you and give it to the rich. And then if you're sick, go beg a billionaire to trickle on you. Maybe you'll find, like in the old days, that in the system the founders rebelled against. Go find a billionaire benefactor, like Clarence Thomas did. He'll keep you as a pet. Be a pet. Oh, but don't worry, you'll be able to hate gay people and trans people and others. You'll be able, don't worry. That's your trade-off. But freedom? See, that's how they think freedom means the freedom to oppress others, the freedom to tell everybody else what to do. Actual freedom, that's too woke for them. The freedom to mind your own damn business, the freedom to go to school, to read a book, to learn, to spend your limited lifespan. So this little blip of time pursuing your authentic life, the one that you want to live, not the one that J.D. Vance has in store for you, or their ancient book of fables. They're so small, too small to live in the shining city on a hill. Are you kidding me? Tiny, very tiny people. They live in darkness. They live they live in mud in a cave. Go back to the Dark Ages. In the woods. Back to the woods with you. That's what we're going to do. We're going to send them to the woods. Poppy! I see Poppy! Poppy! Poppy's in the chat, everybody. Poppy Champlin in the chat. We get celebrities in the chat at Tarabuster. Nice to see you. Back to the woods with you. Not Poppy. Well, that's where they're going. Because I always tell them, they go to the woods. Go to the woods. Like the Unabomber. Live off the fat of the land. No pesky anybody holding you back by your bootstraps. But they don't want to. They want all the benefits of civilization, but they don't want any of the responsibilities that we have to each other. They just want to take and take and take, but they want to open up their tap and drink the water and have their coffee without having, parasites, or they don't want to have to worry about that. They don't want to have to inspect their own food or worry about the buildings falling down on their heads because it's not built to any kind of standard. That's what would happen without regulations. They just build like Traitor Trump. Are you kidding me? He's already fucked up buildings that he had any hand in. He was using, because you have to use certain materials that won't fall down on your head. But he was caught using concrete when he should have been using steel. Well, what does he care? Is the cheap shit concrete too, not like the concrete that the Romans used to build the Pantheon, or not the Pantheon. The what's that other one that Agrippa built? Is not that the Pantheon's in Greece? What's that one? I want to see that place. I'm gonna ask the AI. Agrippa. Marcus Agrippa. It's on it. His name is on it. Agrippa built. He was Augustus's general during the Battle of Actium, last battle of the Roman Republic. He built, yeah, the Pantheon. What am I saying? Why am I getting confused with what's the one in Greece? I thought that was the. I'm thinking of the one with the tower. Not oh. Now my eCam is frozen. Wonderful, wonderful. I'm frozen like Madonna. All right, listen. I guess it's frozen. Not nice. Not a good shot, Tara. Not a good shot. Not a very good shot. My camera's frozen. I'm trying to kick it. I'm giving it a kick. That's back. My camera was frozen. Yeah, the Pantheon. But there was another. Is there a Pantheon in Greece? I'm getting confused with my historical buildings here. Yeah, there is and there's a Pantheon in Rome. Okay, that's what's confusing me. Pantheon in Greece. But that was built with concrete, the Pantheon in Rome. But Roman concrete. Romans invented concrete. But it was a different form. Anyway, Traitor Trump, who is a disgusting human being, he used concrete where they should have used steel in certain parts of some building he was building. He was caught. So, but what does he care? Because when the building comes crumbling down, he'll be long dead. So, but think about that. In the future, some poor suckers, hundreds of years from now, will still have the misfortune of being killed by Traitor Trump, right? Still, his reach, his failures will end up killing people in the future. He's a scumbag. Okay, all right. Anyway, there we go. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Get into the woods with you, eCam. Into the woods. With the Unabomber with you. When are Poppy and Tara doing a show together? I don't know. Poppy? Are you there this week? Let's do one this week. Poppy, can you hear me? Poppy, that's from... What's that movie? Yentl. Poppy, can you hear me? All right, this week, let's do it. Poppy, can you hear me? All right. The producer is still... Oh, he's awake. He's awake. All right, listen, I got to go to bed. I'm tired. I'm tired of being admired. That's from Blazing Saddles. All right. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out. It was fun. I had fun hanging out with you guys. If you want to hang out on Friday nights, 8:30-ish p.m. Eastern Standard Time, come on over to youtube.com/c4channel/Tarabuster. And actually, Poppy, I was thinking about you. It's been a long time, so I was thinking, where the hell is Poppy? What the hell, man? I'm not even kidding. So, perfect timing. We're on the same wavelength. So we'll text, and hopefully maybe Wednesday. Let me look at my calendar here. If you're around on Wednesday. Sorry for that noise that came out of my mouth just now. I'll try to do Wednesday. All right, and we'll talk. If not, we'll pick another day. Boom, boom, bing, bang, bang, bing. November 10th, Funny Bone. Well, that's coming up. That's in the future. We got October 1st. Oh, what? You won the contest in New York. Congratulations, the Ladies of Laughter. All right, we'll talk about it on the show, Pop. Next time let's do a show during the week, okay? All righty. Congratulations, Poppy, for winning Ladies of Laughter. If you made it to the end of the show, but we will talk about it on the show, next show. All right? All right. That's amazing. I love you all. Thank you. Thank you, Jim, for your super chat. Thank you, Charlie from APS Radio News, for everything you do to keep the show going and growing, and all your kindness for years. Thank you, Jim, for being a moderator. And yes, and your super chat. Yes. And thank you, Haiku, for being a moderator. Thank you, patrons. Patreon.com/TaraDevlin. We will win. We're on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. Thank you so much for hanging out tonight, guys, and everyone in the audio land and all that. My name is Tara Devlin, and I will see you. We'll try to do Wednesday if that works, Poppy. I try to do Wednesday. I try to, do a show during the week, and Wednesday I try to keep it, it's hard. You got to keep on a schedule, but I can't always. So we have Fridays, but Wednesday's always up in the air. But whatever. I will see you during the week. Hopefully. No, we will. We'll see you.